Hey guys, it's me, EODGamerZ here. If you guys are just starting out in Path of Exile Tools new league, wherever it is, and you don't have too much currency to deploy on all the high earning crafting strategies, and you hope to get there eventually, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can start off and turn one augmentation, orb of augmentation, and proceed all the way up to divines. In my opinion, this video is best for anyone who's looking to get their first 10 divines. Thereafter, there are a lot of other strategies that are much more better respecting your time. In a sense, this is a very risk-free strategy where there's no downside, but it does require a bit of your effort to take note of. So now with that out of the way, let me get into the strategies. I'll start off with the easiest one. Any of you are going to like this one. I think this is one of my favorite. We are going to have 4 in this video as well, so pick and choose whatever you feel like doing. This is of course the salvage bench method. As you go along in your journey throughout the game, as you keep leveling up, you play new characters, the easiest way to get currency so that you can start trading, because exalteds are quite rare, is utilizing trade. So you don't have to be a genius and stuff, you can just use an automated currency exchange system over here. For example, this thing, you can just like slap in some stuff, sell your armor scraps, sell your whatever blacksmith whetstones and stuff like that. This is very easy way of getting exalted first, so that if you want to buy your first gear, your newest gear, this is super easy for any beginner to start getting into the game. So how do you get all of these stuff? The most efficient way is to go into your shops. So every single time, every single village that you enter, whether it's Act 1, 2, 3 thereafter, or whether it's cruel mode, whenever you level up, your shops will always reset the items that you have available. So if you go into your magic store, I call this magic store because you have wands, staff, and whatever not, I like to always go down to the bottom over here and filter for quality. Because if they have quality, you can salvage them down so that you can get resources. For those of you who don't know how to unlock the salvage vanish, it roughly unlocks after Act 1 if you have completed the quest Renly Tools. So that is something important to know. So I go into Magic Store here and I go into the Weapons Store or the Armor Store as well. And I just search below over here for quality. I go to filter for 2. You can see that there's 1 item available with 11 quality. And I go to the next tab, there's nothing. At lower levels, the gold cost is very low. But at higher levels, the gold cost is very high. So as you are going on the campaign, it's actually the most efficient time to convert your gold over to these kind of gear. So I'll pick up, for example, I don't recommend people picking out 11,000 gold boot for just a few armor scraps, depending on how luxurious you are and how much resources you have. But for the sake of demonstration, I will do it. So I bought this plus 11 quality boot, and nothing else in my store currently has quality, but every time you level up, the shop resets. So you can always pick and choose whatever you're looking for whenever it is. At lower levels, you level up very often. So I will go into the salvage bench over here, and you can see I have a full stack of 20. 11 gets me 2 pieces of armor scrap, which is very nice. So I come into the exchange over here, and you can see if I wanted to sell those 2 pieces of armor scrap, I have almost enough for 1 exalted, because right now I need 2.5 to get 1 exalted. So just a simple strategy like this will help you get a lot of exalted as well, especially if you are buying quality stuff, which items with quality, so that you can crunch in the blacksmith whetstones, you can crunch them into arcanist etchers, armor scraps, and if they even have sockets along with it, great. You can also get things that eventually lead up to the artificer orbs, which can also be sold for resources. Of course, that's not all. Because quality sometimes is a bit random, you might not always get the gear with quality. Regal shards are also really good. Early in the game, when you are at lower levels, your items don't really fetch too much gold. So for example, if you sold one of these gear, like this Honor Crown's Avian Mask for example, at a lower level, maybe from level 1 to around 50 or 60, before you hit Cruel, they won't really fetch too much gold. At most, maybe hundreds. Probably won't see 1,000. So it's much more efficient to actually, and I'm again going to just buy this for the sake of demonstration. You can see even this level 65 one is only worth 1,000 gold, not too much. So you can actually convert them by going to disenchanting them in your store. You can find your NPC who does that. I believe it's Elva for most part. You can slap in this avian mask over here, and then you will be able to get Regal shards. So if you keep doing this at lower levels, you eventually have enough to form Regal orbs. And because rare items are a much more common drop than quality items, at lower levels, you can just keep disenchanting them. And then you can come in once you have enough Regal orbs to swap for Exalted Orb. So 4 Regal Orbs, which is 40 junk rares, gets you 1 Exalted. And this is slowly how you build up your currency over time. As you get more and more currency, you can convert them to higher tier stuff. But as you can see, it is a natural flow. As you play the game, you will have a lot of these raw materials, and that is how you utilize most of these raw materials. So now that we talked about the first strategy, I'm going to give you a second strategy. That's kind of boring, right? Because this one does take some time. You do have to play the game. Some of you want a bit faster cash, quick cash. So let me give you a very unique strategy. Now, out of all of the items, and this one, of course, requires you a little bit more trade. So pick which one you fancy. The first one doesn't require trade at all. But here, every unique item, when you disenchant a unique item, even the junk ones, can either give you 1 chance shard or 2 chance shards. So depends on the item, they might give you different things. And as the league progresses, I always like to keep an eye out for this ratio over here, the Exalt Orb to Orb of Chance prices. Once it's basically almost 1:10, means that every chance shard is almost close to an Exalted. So in this case, it's not quite because it's 1:9 thereabouts. So every unique item is almost worth 1 Exalted. And those that give you 2 chance shards are approximately worth 2 Exalted each. Or rather, more than 1 Exalted for sure. So if you're paying 1 Exalted for any of these unique items that can be crunched down into 2 chance shards, you actually make a massive amount of profit. So I have an example here. I went to the market just previously before this. I went to ping like lots of people for 1 Exalted for this quarter staff that I have over here. And for example, I bought all of these at 1 elk each. So 1 elk, all 1 elk over here. And I just come into my disenchanter. I just slap in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And immediately you can see I will be getting an Orb of Chance in return for 5 Orb of Alchemies. So Orb of Alchemies, of course, you can just use the currency exchange. You can get it as well, whatever currency you're trading in, as long as it's worth less than 1 Exalt. So as of time of recording, of course, 1 Orb of Alchemy is basically worth half of an Exalted. So I basically quadruple my money with this strategy just by going onto the trade site and buy. I can show you, for example, what I like to search. You can just come into the trade site over here. You can just slap in the name, and you can see if I just refresh right now, even after buying up a couple, there are still quite a lot at 1 alchemy over here being listed. People don't really bother checking whether it's crunched down to 2 or whether it's crunched down to 1. So I think this is a very nice slight bonus for those of you who are looking. You can also buy stuff at 1 Exalted. 1 Exalted Q is way higher. Of course, you are still profitable while this strategy exists. And there are so many unique items. So there's a space for every one of you. And to value add to you, because it won't be fun just to like tell you what the strategy is, right? I want to give you more because everyone's going to crawl into that quarter staff. So I have an example of 5 more over here that I have. 5 items that are also worth 2 chance shards each. And let me just show you real quick. This is the Night Skill, Poor Skill Gloves. You can search this. You can do it. If it's anything 1 Exalted or less, definitely worth it. You have the Valaco Vice Plate Gauntlets, also 2 chance shards. You have the Fallen Formation, also 2 chance shards. And of course, you have this Soul Mantle, Sacrificial Mantle here, also 2 chance shard. And last but not least, at least among those that I want to highlight to you, is the Bronzebeard Horn Crown. You can search any of these if you guys are interested in more ideas so that you can actually do this strategy, because I don't just want to give you one and everyone's going to crowd in that particular item. So here are a couple, and there are many, many more items. As you go along your journey, you will find stuff that are 2 chance shards worth. Take note of those because you can always do this strategy in a future date as well. And note that some items, of course, are 1 chance shard, some items are 2 chance shards. So now that we have touched on the second strategy as well, I find this is a really, really efficient strategy, especially if you're just trying to get started. This accelerates your growth very quickly. Does require you a little bit of trading, unfortunately, because you have to ping people. For those of you who want more trading strategies, so like as you're doing your uniques, you can also ping for other stuff. The next strategy is buying high quality items. Now, if for those of you who don't know, a high quality item like this, random ones, 20 quality, gives you 4 of these 4 armor scrap. So if I crunch that down, you can see over here, I get 4 armor scrap and I get 2 artificial shards. If I go into Alva again, and I'm trying to show you, if I have 4 shards over here, I can basically sell like, if I'm like hitting the market, I don't care about the 0.4, I sell it for 1 Exalted. I take back 1 Exalted, I have this random armor scrap profit basically free and an artificial shard. All I just need to do now is go into this website over here, the trade site. This is the official trade site, of course, for those of you who are slightly newer to the game. go into filter. What I like to do is always come in here and I'll filter item quality minimum 20, any armor because armor gives armor scrap. That's what you're looking for. And then I'll just like filter. So you have here Val Orbs, which are worth way less than 1 Exalted. Regals, which are less than Exalted. This is like half an Exalted. So there's so many options. Even 1 Exalted, there's so many. You can just buy up like all of these and then just crunch them down. And as you keep doing this, you basically just get free 1 armor scrap, 1.5 armor scrap each time you do it. So you almost double your money, especially if you have a very small quantum. This strategy is very good to get you started having your first pot of gold. You just do it like 100 of them, 100 Exalted worth, and you already get yourself a divine. All it just takes is a little bit of time, and pretty much you can just keep farming divines if you just keep doing this strategy, assuming that divines is 150 Exalted. Just need to buy 100 of them. So that is this next strategy that I have over here. And last but not least, of course, I have a special strategy for every single one of you. I don't just want to give you like one strategy so everyone crowds into it. If you're finding value in this video so far, do give me a like, subscribe. We are a money channel, so we talk about how to make more money in Path of Exile 2, what's the league, what's the market moving, how is the economy doing and stuff. If you're interested in all these kind of stuff, it's quite hard to find these kind of content. Consider subscribing to the channel for more future content too. Last but not least, of course, is the arbitrage strategy. Now, you can arbitrage many things, and what basically arbitrage is just a very complicated way of saying risk-free, almost risk-free returns if you deploy the strategy as well. So what generally the strategy is when you reforge catalysts, you reforge soul cores, you reforge many other things, essences, you have a chance of getting potentially a good one, a bad one, but more importantly, you get a new catalyst in return. A different catalyst, which means that if you buy the cheapest catalyst and you reforge them, you might have a chance of getting a very nice rare catalyst that you will see. For example, like this one over here in this league, it's the attack catalyst. Every league is different, so it's a bit special. So this one here, 6.5 exile gets you 1. But whereas if I buy a cheap one like the one I'm using, this Carapace one, 1 exile gets me 5. So it's like 30 times more expensive. So that is the deploying the strategy. So to know all these numbers, to do the math, you need a very large sample size of knowing how the thing is split. As well, at the same time, you also need to understand the profit and loss, how it's calculated. As you keep doing this to infinity, you will be able to find out your P&L. So what we have here is we have built a very beautiful spreadsheet as well. We have a catalyst one here. We also have another ones for soul cores, deliriums, and whatever not. What this is we just input our numbers. This can be found on the community tab for members of the channel who support us, but otherwise it's very easy to do. You can do it on your own as well. Let me just tell you what it's about. All you just need to do is put your price of the different catalysts in here. It calculates the profit if you're trying to reforge them. So I tell you reforge arbitrage. Right now, there's no opportunity available. The reason for that as listed here. But for example, something like a soul core reforging. We have here the different items and it immediately tells us if we keep deploying the strategy, our P&L, our profit and loss is approximately 17%. Of course, we have a huge sample size that we have done on the channel through the many leagues that we are already doing. We of course are the pioneers creating this for us. So 30 plus reforgers, 30 plus thousand reforgers to get our approximately adjusted return. Of course, that's why you notice that our adjusted return is very different from assuming everything was equal chance. I also have here whether it's risky, not risky, but with this information, you can start doing a database for yourself also. Otherwise, if you're too tedious, you can subscribe for just $1 a month. It will really help us and support the channel grow as well. Consider joining as a member. You will get a lot of tools and even a way to actually automate your reforges. So you don't actually have to manually click reforge and manually click this. You can just press 2 buttons and you get it done as well. If you found this video helpful, insightful, check out these 2 other content and consider joining a member, and see you guys in the next video.